So we got some Atlanta Falcons news. Apparently, their tight end Kyle Pitts is generating a lot of trade interest. He actually missed the first few days of the Falcons OTAs. There were some speculation that he was holding out because he wanted a new contract, which, if that is true, is completely insane. Yeah, he had a good rookie season in the NFL, but every other NFL season he's played in for Atlanta, I feel like he's been a very underwhelming player. And if you actually watch the Falcons play, I swear the dude should just be called Mr. Invisible most Falcons games, because I honestly forget that he's even out there the majority of the time when I watch the Falcons play over the past like 3 years. So if that's the reason why he's holding out of OTAs, that's crazy. But apparently he is dealing with a foot injury right now, so that's probably the reason why he hasn't attended it so far. Apparently Atlanta would require at least a day 2 pick to engage in trade negotiations with other teams, and I feel like that's very fair compensation. A fourth, a fifth, even a 6th round pick for Kyle Pitts is really fair in my opinion, because Kyle is entering the final season of his rookie contract, so that means whatever team he lands on in 2026, he's going to require a new contract. And honestly, if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm just in the Falcons organization, I feel like I've seen enough from this dude. I would not give him a penny going forward. I want to thank you for your service, that one good year he had his first year in the NFL, but I just would not pay this guy. I would just move on. But that's just me. Atlanta Falcons fans, talk to me. How do you feel about Kyle Pitts? Do you want to see him back in 2026, or are you totally okay with your team trading him? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, man, it's just a healthy reminder that when it comes to NFL drafts, they're always a complete unknown, a big old question mark, no matter where you're selecting in the first round. Because Kyle Pitts was a top 10 draft pick when he got drafted, and now he's going for like what, a 5th, a 6th, a 4th. It's just crazy how things can change so quickly to a certain extent. And that's the thing, man. Kyle Pitts, if you just take a look at him, he's a freak. He has a pretty good 40 time, 6'6", 240. He's just not productive. He's not consistent. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's the system. I gotta be honest, throughout his Falcons career, sure, he hasn't had the best quarterback play. I think it's just best for both parties to part ways at this point, because I'd be curious to see what Kyle Pitts can do on the Commanders, hypothetically. Pair him with Jaden Daniels and Zach Ertz. I feel like he could be productive there. Or, you put him in LA with Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. I feel like Jim would definitely draw up some plays for Kyle Pitts. So, as an NFL fan, I'm hoping he goes elsewhere. And there were reports that the Pittsburgh Steelers were interested in trading for Jonnu Smith. So you have to expect that Pittsburgh is also probably talking to Atlanta right now in regards to Kyle Pitts, and I don't know how that fit would be. I wouldn't really recommend that if I was Kyle Pitts' agent. If I was Kyle Pitts' agent right now, I would definitely be trying to get a deal done for the Chargers, Washington, just a more competent team and a more competent franchise right now, because like I mentioned, Kyle Pitts is playing on the last year of his rookie deal. So if him and his agent and his family wants to get paid, he has to have a pretty good year in 2025. We'll see how it all plays out, man. And as far as the Atlanta Falcons, man, Kirk Cousins is also reportedly not at the Falcons OTAs, which makes a lot of sense. He's an older guy, and maybe there's a chance that he could get injured, and that would just be counterproductive for both Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, because I feel like a trade for Kirk Cousins is pretty imminent, so we still have to keep an eye on that. And also, man, just the Falcons in general for the 2025 season, pretty fascinating year. I am excited to watch them play, but I could also see it going very poorly at the same time. I'm just curious to see how they do like in the first like 5 to 10 weeks. You know, it's Michael Penix's first official year being the starter from the first week in the NFL. I'm just a bit hesitant on going all in on the Falcons right now, mainly because of Michael Penix's health and just how kind of incompetent that Falcons franchise has been over the past like 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm somewhat optimistic for them this season. I'm definitely a big Michael Penix guy. I'm a big believer in him, and I've touched on this many times before, but if they would have just started him 3, 4 weeks earlier in the 2024 season, 1000% they would have made the playoffs. And who knows, maybe the Falcons could have had the season the Commanders had a year ago. You never know, man. You never know. But the big thing about Michael Penix is obviously his injury history. He suffered a plethora of serious injuries in college, so I'm very curious to see if he can last a full NFL season. I hope he does. I love his arm. I think he's a really talented QB. Hopefully he could establish a great connection with Drake London. Drake London finally has a competent quarterback in my opinion. So if you're in fantasy or if you're just a Drake London guy, I would definitely be buying stock on Drake London. Of course, they still have Bijan Robinson. I feel like he didn't get appreciation and love as he should have a year ago. The dude's a baller. Yeah, he still needs to work on a few things, and sure, he's not at that Saquon Barkley-esque level right now, but I'd say he's a tier under there, man. And if he keeps growing, he keeps developing as an RB, as a pass catcher, etc., etc., I think he could easily be one of the best RBs in the game in the next few years, easily. There definitely are still some question marks. Like I said, Michael Penix, and also their head coach, Raheem Morris. I don't know if this guy's a great head coach yet. I know he comes from the Sean McVay tree, so you kind of got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. I just want to see the first 10 weeks of the Falcons season before I'm all in with them. And as far as the Falcons' first 10 weeks in the 2025 season, in September they play the Bucks, Vikings, Panthers, and Commanders. Definitely not an easy schedule there at all. In October they play the Bills, Niners, and Dolphins. And then in the month of November, Patriots, Colts, Panthers, Saints, Jets. So November is definitely a lot lighter than the other months, but we'll see how it goes down, man. We'll see. Let me know if you think the Falcons are going to be good this year. I'm just a bit hesitant too because also, you have the Bucks in the NFC South as well. I just feel like they're probably going to win the NFC South again. I know it was close a year ago. I get that, but I don't know. I'm just really hesitant on the Falcons right now. I just don't trust them just yet, but I hope they can prove me wrong because I love watching Michael Penix play. Let me know what you think about Kyle Pitts, the Falcons, Penix, and everything else in between. If you made this far, please subscribe, like the vid, help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
He is excellent with it. He is a quarterback with the abilities of a running back.
The Jets will take the snap from the 25. Unable to bring it in.
Well, the quarterback that time tried to squeeze it into tight coverage, but no can do. The coverage is too good. The football falls incomplete.
The Panthers lined up in the nickel. Out of the gun. Cooper Helfet has it. He's tackled beyond the markers. It's a first down.
When you run that drag route across the field, it is not as easy as it looks. When you're running fast, you have to catch the football right in stride, and you cannot see what's in front of you.
Locked in on the football and has hold of it with two hands. The Jets are going to burn the first of their 3 timeouts right here.
Only 9 yards to go.
First down here after the completion from the gun. Scrambling out of the pocket. Ball is out. The Jets will take a second here to talk things over as they call a timeout on second down. Second and goal from the 2. Now on the move. Into the end zone for the touchdown. A big The Jets on a quest for their third straight scoring drive here, Phil. They've been having their way with that defense on these last few possessions.
Well, let me say this, Jim, it's not that easy to score points in the NFL, not the way they're making it look, and they're confident, they look like they're fast, they're fresh, they're rested. It's been fun to watch.
Holding offense.
The defense will take the penalty.
First down.
The Panthers come out in a dime package from the shotgun. It's caught by Devin Smith. Smith's taken down at the 18.
That's a good job by the receiver, running the drag route across the field. These are not easy throws for the quarterback, but he sticks it right on him for the completion.
Second down and 12. Jason Morrow makes the catch. That's another reception, giving him 2.
Good job by the offense picking up a first down there. They've been terrific all day long. They're winning the football game, and they are tiring this defense out.
The Jets will take the snap from the 35. Mason's met at the 44. He's now averaging 6 yards a carry on the day.